is without doubt that definitely the politics of Zimbabwe is turning ugly. The rift between retired General Chiwenga and Emerson Mnangagwa is becoming more and more actually visible to the people, even though some are living in denial, thinking that that is a creation of the social media, but also they are not doing any better to show that they are. I mean, social media doesn't have to make these speculations. Today is Zanu PF's politiburo. Mnangagwa is sharing his politiburo, and guess what? He is without the most critical person in that politiburo. That is the vice president, retired General Chiwenga. It remains to be known why today he is not present during the Zanu PF Politburo meeting. Remember, that's a very important meeting of the Zanu PF, which makes decisions for the country, and your absence in that meeting, consequential decisions may be made. And also, it's a depiction that there is lack of unity between Emerson Mnangagwa as well as retired General Chiwenga. Maybe for Kembo Mohadi's absence, it is understood because Kembo Mohadi is always on and off. In terms of sickness, is not feeling very well. Greetings and welcome to your lovely channel, the Hloniphani Global News. If you're watching us for the very first time, please do remember to press the red or black subscribe button so that next time when we beam live, you become the very first one to watch us. So Emerson Mnangagwa has done what we call opening remarks during the Zanu PF Politburo meeting. Of course, so far when I was reading the opening remarks, they did not actually, there were no issues which I could pinpoint that were directed at retired General Chiwenga. But remember, I only perused through what is written. Definitely, I'm going to go through the entire statement later on. But something that sparked my concern is actually, sorry about the background. The other phone of mine was left open. So the other thing that sparked my concern is the absence of retired General Chiwenga in that particular meeting. It speaks volumes to the people of Zimbabwe, and it is understood that it sends a certain message, especially taking into consideration of what has been happening in the country. We've seen retired General Chiwenga not actually part of the delegates who welcomed the President of the Republic of South Africa. Definitely, there are actually mixed views as to why Ramaphosa was in South Africa. And you know, we have also published all different views because we don't want to be seen to be taking one-sided view in this particular matter. So, the absence of retired General Chiwenga during that Politburo and the chairs of the vice president being occupied, the other one by Jacob Mutenda and the other one by the Zanu PF chairperson, that is Opa Mchinguri, I can tell you that is a strong statement which actually depicts disunity. That is the order of the day in Zanu PF. It's a strong message that they are sending to the people of Zimbabwe, validating what has been actually ventilated at length on social media platforms regarding their rifts, especially after what transpired a few days ago. One would have expected retired General Chiwenga to be present in that Politburo meeting, in spite of the explanations that may be given, that is preoccupied with something. But remember, I must say, the person who had a grip for quite some time in Zanu PF was actually Robert Gabriel Mugabe. When Mugabe was the president, as evil as he was, you see, all Zanu PF leaders will make sure they attend, especially meetings such as politiburo. Whether even if there was a Zanu PF rally, all the vice presidents must be seen to be in that particular rally and twerking, cheering for the Zanu PF leader. But it hasn't been happening of late. On Emerson Dambutso Mnangagwa. So I must attest to you that on its own, it's a depiction of the deteriorating relations, especially at this crucial moment. The absence of retired General Chiwenga on its own speaks volumes regarding the tensions. It speaks volumes regarding the political temperature in Zimbabwe at the moment, and also it speaks volumes regarding the relations between these two hostile camp, and also taking into consideration what Knox Chivero said yesterday. I've always told people, Knox Chivero, just like Blessed Geza, he is not speaking what comes from his mind. Definitely does not decide this day, I'm going to record this and tell Zimbabweans. This you could see when he was speaking. It's a well organized, actually briefing with all of the literature and most probably and well presented. By the way, I think there is nobody who presented the corruption that has taken place in Zanu PF more than Knox Chivero. He is also brilliant, just like Blessed Geza. At their age, you would think that these old men will actually stumble, but they know what they are speaking and they are good at their work. So it's quite getting very, very scary in Zimbabwe, in my view, the way things are actually shaping up between Zanu PF and Mnangagwa is seemingly losing grip. More than any other thing. And also remember why I keep on emphasizing that what we see today is a mirror of possible events to come in the following day. It's a statement depicting the internal affairs of Zanu PF. Over the past few days, the leaders were actually exchanging words against each other on public platforms. We saw Zikananda and Mnangagwa with Cyril Ramaphosa going to the farm of Mnangagwa. Some say actually the purpose of that meeting was Ramaphosa telling Mnangagwa that the military is not happy about his leadership and trying to advise him to actually deflect from constitutional amendment bill number 3, but Zanu PF of Mnangagwa giving us an impression that Ramaphosa was coming to rubber stamp his constitutional amendment bill number 3. So we don't know which is which, but you could tell that that meeting had something to do with the current political developments in Zimbabwe. And today, the vice president not being, obviously with Kembo Mohati, I know there may be a reasonable excuse that he is most probably not feeling well, and that is why he absconded that meeting. Because remember, the politiburo meeting of Zanu PF, apart from taking decisions, it also mirrors the authority of that particular president, and it also mirrors the loyalty amongst the officials in that critical decision-making body of Zanu PF. Hence, seeing one of the officials, especially who is always critical about the decisions that are made by that politburo, and taking into consideration what some officials loyal to Emerson Dambutso Mnangagwa have said about the contributions of retired General Chiwenga. We have heard the current Attorney General, who is supposed to be apolitical, by the way, cautioning Chiwenga of actually going out publicly to disassociate himself against the decisions that would have been made by the cabinet, saying those decisions are binding, going to an extent of saying there will be laws that would be created to deal with such kind of circumstances and individuals. And today, retired General Chiwenga, waking up this morning in a very crucial politburo, absent. That on its own speak volumes to the temperatures of the country. We are living in extraordinary times, and about 2 weeks left, if I'm not mistaken, for the bill to see its life in the Zimbabwean parliament. The mind-boggling question is, are we going to witness that unfolding? Are Zimbabweans going to witness the constitution being changed, and then moves to try and stop that being done post that? I think the issue of time is also of critical importance in terms of tackling this. We will be watching these events, and guess what? We'll be trying to predict where it is possible. But I must attest to you that the following weeks and days to come, they would be very, very crucial in Zimbabwe. Temperatures are, people expect to see these people like openly, but they have openly exchanged words. They have openly contradicted themselves, and obviously not in a bizarre manner, but indirectly. Mnangagwa has gotten a message that Chiwenga is drawing a line, especially when it comes to Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 of 2026. Equally so, Chiwenga has gotten an impression that Emmerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa is the kingpin of Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3, and he goes after those who are seemingly opposed to the bill. So the message has been clear in terms of the codes, political codes that have been used by both leaders, sending a clear message against each other regarding Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 of 2026. So it's quite interesting. We'll be watching, and if maybe we get an explanation as to why Chiwenga was absent and it's valid, we may also come back and validate and also give another side of the story. But at the moment, what we know is that he's not part of that politburo. He has said a lot of things, especially in that politburo, and every time we know that when the politburo that Mnangagwa has at the moment will most probably agree to everything that Mnangagwa will say. If he decides to fire Chiwenga, it may also probably, no one will actually argue. There is no debate there. The only person who could bring debate in that politburo was none other than retired General Chiwenga. So, and we are waiting also to hear the decisions that would be carried out by that politburo, as it is the supreme decision-making committee. It makes decisions and then cascade decisions to the central committee, though we are told that the central committee is the supreme decision-making body. And also, I think what we may be surprised with individuals like Tungwarara, as well as also individuals like Budawashe Takure being parachuted to the politburo. They are closer, by the way, to the politburo. You may hear such developments are taking place in this politburo or in some politburo to come. And I strongly believe that Mnangagwa may be looking forward in the near future to also bring them in his cabinet, as they have been staunch supporters of his. But that depends on whether he would be successful with Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 of 2026. He may be successful, but in my view, I have predicted long time ago that I don't foresee him being allowed especially to pursue this dream, especially Constitutional Amendment Bill number 3 was a red line crossed. And at the moment, we are seeing measures to mitigate that red line which was caused. And there is rift in terms of relations, especially amongst the two most influential personnels within Zanu PF, not necessarily in Zimbabwe. So it's quite interesting, so to speak. Thank you very much for watching us. If you are watching us for the very first time, don't forget to subscribe. You can also financially support this channel by pressing the join button and be part of our members who are the heartbeat of this channel. You can equally do so by pressing the thanks button and send us stars. Is signing off. Let me love and leave you. Let's meet on the other side of the